Hey everybody, this is Andrew from T is for Tech, and today I have a really cool device to take a look at. I'm really excited about this one. This is a mini PC from a company called Kamrui, so K-A-M-R-U-I, and this is their AM06PRO Mini PC. So as you can tell, it's a compact machine, and the really neat thing about this is it has a pretty powerful CPU in it. So this has the AMD Ryzen 5. It's the 5500U CPU with a 2.1 gigahertz base frequency that can go up to 4 gigahertz. So that includes 6 cores, 12 threads, and it comes pre-installed with Windows 11 Pro, which is a really nice thing as well, because if you go out and have to buy Windows 11 on your own, you're going to spend a chunk of money just for the OS. Yeah, so like I said, AM06PRO, it's black, has 16 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabytes of storage, and that is on a M.2 SSD, so an NVMe drive, which is awesome as well. 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM, so that's 66 megahertz speed, so it's dual channel. Can be upgraded to a maximum of 64 gigs, so you can have 2 by 32, so it's got 2 slots, and the speed can be up to 3200 megahertz. So yeah, so we will take a look at this and then talk a little bit more about it as we go on. This video is going to be in 2 parts. I'm going to do the unboxing here to take a look at the actual device, see what you get in the package, talk a little bit about more about the specs. And then I'm going to hook it up and do actually some gaming tests. Because this does have the AMD Ryzen and the GPU kind of Radeon GPU built into it. Well, as part of the chip, obviously. There's not a discrete graphics card. This should actually do pretty good at some light gaming, right? So we'll see how it performs, maybe get some frames per second tests on some different games. Things like Fortnite, Minecraft, things like that. Yeah, and just see how it goes. Like I said, these things have come a long way in the past few years. I did look at a mini PC a little while ago, but it was not at all very powerful. Believed it used, Intel Atom kind of chips and things like that, which obviously does not have a lot of performance. Now these, this generation of these types of things that have, pretty decent chips in them, like AMD Ryzen chips and things like that, totally different ball game. Let's get a little user manual here. Now this does come with a VESA mount, so that's really nice. So if you have, a monitor or something like that has a VESA mount on the back where it's the stand is not already occupying that mount space, you can hook this up and use this, and you might even actually be able to use this with a stand that's using a VESA mount, depending on how that's set up. You might be able to kind of sneak it in there or whatnot, but it's really cool. So if you want to mount this back on the back of a screen, kind of keep it totally hidden, you can do that. And there's a couple mounting screws here as well. You also get a SATA cable, so you can extend storage on this using like a 2.5-inch SATA drive. So if you want to do game storage or anything like that, where you can get an extra up to 2 terabytes of space using a SATA drive with this cable, which is pretty cool. Yeah, this just basically tells you a little bit of stuff. So in the box, you also get a power brick, and this looks like it is a 65 watt power brick, 64.98 watts. So power brick AC adapter. Obviously, I'm in the US, get a US plug. Semi-short HDMI cable. Like I said, a couple screws here, and then here is the actual machine. Now, as you can tell, this looks pretty small, right? This is definitely smaller than a Mac Mini. It does have I don't know if you can see, there's some, the case looks kind of cool, but at the bottom there's some air inlets. There's some air inlets in here as well. Kind of perforated all around there for airflow. So this does have a high efficiency fan in it with a copper heat pipe. You know, that's a pretty large air duct design. And basically they're saying, you know, a 40% increase in heat dissipation performance. I don't know compared to what, but you know, that's what it says in the listing. So right here, you can see AMD Ryzen 5, AMD Radeon graphics. Power button's on this corner, so it's kind of just like off on the front on the corner. On the front of this, you have quite a few outlets. So you have an audio outlet, so headphone jack, 2 USB ports, and these are, I believe, USB 3. Yeah, 2 USB 3 ports on the front. Obviously, USB-C, Type-C there. There's a microphone as well, built into the case. See on the bottom, you've got 2 M.2 screw mounts that you can use for that vase adapter. There's also screws on the bottom, feet. There's rubber feet. I'm going to take this bottom off and take a look at the inside in a minute. On the back then you have, so with this you can drive a 4K triple display. So you have a display port, you have an HDMI and a Type-C port. You also have a couple USB 2 ports on the back and a couple LAN connections. Now this does come with 802.11ac dual band 2.4 and 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi support, you know, Wi-Fi 5, Bluetooth 4.2. So pretty loaded actually. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a screwdriver and we'll go ahead and take the bottom off of this and take a look on the inside. Basically there's 4 screws that are just worked into the heads of the rubber feet that you can use to remove that. And this should just come off. As you can see, the bottom just comes right off. And if we take a look inside, you can see this is basically what the motherboard looks like. Now, these are not name brand RAM or hard drives that I'm aware of. So this is an air disk by Shenzhen IONS Electronics Co. I've actually never heard of air disk. And these are, like I said, DDR, well actually, on the spec it said 2666 megahertz, but these actually say they're 3200s. So DDR4 3200, 2 8 gig sticks, and as you can see, there's only 2 slots. And on the drive, it is a M.2 2280, 512 gigs. So yeah. So, I mean, nothing too exciting on the inside other than you can swap out those, right? So you can basically change out the memory if you want, and you can change out the SSD. Now, for the external hard drive, it looks like what you can do actually is mount it in these clips. So there's like a hard drive carrier. It's really hard to see here. There's a hard drive carrier kind of built into this bottom lid, where it's, you know, it looks like it just snaps in. There's no screws, but it has a way to retention a 2.5-inch hard drive in there. So if you wanted to add, like I said, another SSD, you can put it in there, and then basically there is a slot on the motherboard where you can connect the SATA connection, kind of, you know, finagle it up in there, and then hook it to the SATA drive. So that's really neat as well. I mean, it looks like it goes in right here. Yeah, I'm assuming this is where it goes. It looks like that's the only slot that would work for this. So connect it into there, twist it around so that it connects into the drive, and you should be good to go. So that's what it looks like on the inside. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back together. So the front is this way. And, you know, maybe in a I'll have to check out the expansion in the future. I'm not going to do that right now because I don't actually have, I think, a spare 2.5-inch SSD that I can throw in here. I have one, but it's not. I took it out of another computer because it was acting weird, so I'm not going to use that. But definitely, if I hold on to this and use this as a light gaming setup, I will definitely be leveraging that capability. Yeah, so basically there's some contact stuff. Contact us on here, support@kamrui.com, www.kamrui.com. And there's a forum, minipcunion.com. Yeah, so overall, really cool little device. So what I am going to do now is I'll go ahead and I'm going to connect this up, hook it up to a keyboard monitor, power, jump into Windows, and then see what I can do. So I'll probably try to install a screen recording software on here. So when I actually, show you Windows and jump around and see some of the speed tests and things like that, I'll just record the screen and then throw that into the video so that you can see all of that information. So let's go and jump over there, take a look at the performance of this thing, and I'll finish up with some of my thoughts on the end of the video. So let's hop on over there. So as you can see here, I'm going to go to the settings and just show what shows up in the Windows About for the machine. And I just named it Mini PC, but you can see the processor, all the information related to the setup, the fact that it does have Windows 11 Pro on it, and all of that. So that's pretty cool. Next, it does install the Radeon software as well. So then you can use this for everything that AMD offers to monitor the different temperatures and usage and percentages and all of that. And there's a ton of options in this Adrenaline software, which just comes with it. And then the next thing I just did a Crystal Disk Mark, and I sped this up by a ton so that it doesn't take a long time to run. But it's getting pretty good read and write speeds on the internal SSD. So that's pretty good. And then I did a Geekbench test. So you see it comes single core performance 1413, 5080 on multi-core, which is, it doesn't blow you away, obviously. This is a kind of a mid-low range chip in the overall scheme of things of what's out there today, but pretty good performance for such a tiny PC, I think. So this is some highlighted information on how it scored in all the different single core tests. And then I ran an OpenCL test as well for the GPU, and this is what it came up with for that. So kind of use that information as you will. The next thing I did is, while this I know it's not a quote-unquote gaming machine or gaming PC, a lot of use cases might be someone's looking for a slightly inexpensive machine that they can use to give to their kid or whatever so that they can play something like Minecraft or Fortnite. Those are the two games I'm kind of just going to try here because, again, no one's going to buy this and think that they're going to get top tier, esports level sort of performance out of these machines, but it's good enough to play basic games, right? If you kind of tone down the graphics. Now this one is on fancy graphics. I think I maxed out pretty much the graphics on it for the out of the box Minecraft, and it plays pretty good. It's a little laggy here and there, depending, but it's playable, right? So it's definitely something. If you gave this to your kid, they probably would play it, unless they're into trying to load all kinds of shader packs and better graphics and all of that. I don't know how this would handle that, but I didn't even bother trying because I don't think it would work very well. At least I don't think so. So Minecraft, pretty decent. I'll just let this play a little bit more, and then I think I did Fortnite next.
Yeah. So now for Fortnite, this one was a little bit tough because obviously Fortnite's a little bit more demanding than say Minecraft. I did do kind of like a recommended setup at first, and it kind of set everything to medium, and it did tweak down the 3D graphic resolution, or the 3D resolution, a little bit. I am running the MSI Afterburner, so you can see up at the top left basically the frames per second for Direct3D 11, and the GPU temp, GPU percentage used, CPU temp, CPU percentage, and then the power draw on the CPU. And you can see here in the lobby, it's pretty laggy when there's a bunch of people or a bunch of action going on. It's really laggy at this, and you're getting basically, 20, 30 frames per second. So it's kind of crap. So I'll just I played this for a few minutes, so might as well just let this go. And then throughout this course of this, I did change the settings a few times. I think after I jumped, I ended up changing it to all low just to see how that would affect it. So yeah, here I think I'm going to basically just set it to low with 50% 3D resolution. And then the frames FPS kind of goes up to around 60-ish. And obviously it fluctuates. It keeps fluctuating. And I left this on unlimited FPS in the settings so that you could see how it bounces around. I didn't leave it set on any specific one. Now, if you wanted to, you could probably set it at I don't know. Here, I don't even know if you set it at 30 frames per second if it would work well at all, because it would keep. I would think it would keep lagging. But again, it all depends on what you're doing, where you're at, how much other action is going on. So then I did put it back to medium here. I don't know why I don't know how to click test or save and test. And like I said before, this is definitely not a gaming machine, but I like to do tests like this on even regular machines because it does tax the system enough, to see. Like, if it can play this kind of okay, it's definitely going to be fine for anything else that you're going to do on the machine. Watch Netflix, YouTube, Word, productivity apps, all that stuff, internet browsing. That's all fine. And I didn't record any of that because it works fine, right? It's a snappy machine. Like I said, the disk speed is pretty good. It's got enough RAM for everyday use, 16 gigs. And I was, more interested just to see how it would play some games, because they do advertise this as good for casual gaming because of the AMD Ryzen and Radeon graphics that are built into this. I don't know why I couldn't get this guy here. I'm not that good at Fortnite. I'm not at all an expert, but I was pretty sure I could have at least got him from this distance. So as you can see, I kept playing around with this, trying to see if I could get any higher frame rates that made it very playable, right? Made it usable. And again, if this is intended for a kid or somebody that is not going to play this level of games, maybe just play some other types of PC games that aren't taxing on the 3D, like a 3D graphics card and all of that, or even lighter games, it would do fine, I think. It is a pretty powerful, again, mobile processor in a mini PC. 6 cores, 12 threads, decent performance, I think, on the CPU, GPU. Also, it's not bad. I mean, it's definitely surprised me for such a small little or such a small little mini PC that this was actually able to do this much. So yeah, that was it. So I mean, overall, my feelings on this is it's super positive. I really think this is a great machine for a lot of different use cases. If you want to use this for a network device, surveillance, camera system, like all of it's the things that are at the top, right? You can use this as a multimedia interface for your PC or for your TV, all sorts of things where you want a small, compact machine that runs Windows. That is pretty powerful, right? You can really use this for a lot of different stuff, a lot of different projects, a lot of different things, as well as a little computer, right? So the fact that there's a VESA mount, and you put it on the back of a monitor, you can kind of have a very discrete computing all-in-one system. And overall, I'm super stoked about this. I'm definitely going to make use of this in my household for sure. There's lots of things I'm already thinking of, like what could I do with it. So from that aspect, it's a really cool device. So I'll link to this thing on Amazon. I'll also throw a link to the Kamrui's website. Right now it's on sale. I think it's right under $300, which actually is a pretty good deal. Like if you look at the power it's in here, what you get, it's a capable machine, especially when it comes with Windows 11 Pro. Like I said earlier in the video, that's something that, I mean, if you had to go buy for a new little machine that you were trying to build or trying to put together, the OSs aren't cheap either. So it's overall a very good deal. If you have any questions, go ahead and post those below, and I'll be happy to try to answer whatever I can. This is Andrew from TS for Tech. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.